Good, good, good. Actually, we don't need that. Welcome aboard, everyone. So excited to be here with 14 Minutes of Fame with Missy Henkel. Oh, I should wear my crown. God, what was I thinking? All right, here we go. Got the crown on. 14 Minutes of Fame with Missy Henkel. Today we have the wonderful Ian Burton. He's from over in Arkansas, over in America, and I know him from quantum sound therapy. So he's a fairly calm dude, but I mean, look at his background. I mean, I think that kind of says it anyway. I do like talking to you, Ian, online because it reminds me of what I assume the Aurora Borealis would be. And I'm guessing you never get it because you're like too low for the Borealis.
That's right, too far south.
Right? Yeah, it's going to be way up higher for that. So, Ian, tell me, quantum sound therapy. All right, can you say in the least amount of words, can you describe it for me?
Quantum sound therapy
Yeah.
is it's an energy field that you inform your space to feel better, to feel balanced, to feel chill, and to express your creative potential.
Nice. And so you sell these quantum sound therapy devices, right? This is how I
Right.
describe it, Ian. I say to the kids, because kids can understand visuals and stories. So I said, think of it like this. And you tell me if I'm on track or off track, because this is how I describe it. So it's kind of like, think of like an iPod that plays really relaxing music, except that you can't hear it. Because there is nothing worse than being completely relaxed while never being able to get a particular song out of your head for the rest of the day. So it does all the relaxing stuff, but you're not singing a tune for the rest of the day and you just sort of zen from it. So that's how I describe a quantum sound therapy device. Am I kind of on track or off track?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I used to call it invisible sound, and I've gone, that's not right. No, it's noiseless sound, really. So it's a feeling. It becomes a feeling.
right. It's like being immersed in frequencies that are creating a feeling, creating an effect, letting you have more calm, more joy, more attention, more focus, less stress.
Less
But
stress, right? Less stress, less anxiety, less overwhelm. So
right.
I'm thinking that the filter becomes more sleep. At the end of the
Yes.
day, more sleep, right?
Right.
Less anxiousness when you're watching the news until like
Right. Less
11 o'clock.
anxiousness, better sleep, less anxious, the better it gets, the better
Yeah.
it gets. Right. Yeah.
You know, running so many, like with networking groups and going out to business networking groups and being around that for so long. And as a sales trainer, I get to meet all these people that sell all these different things. But I tell you what, nothing irritates a person more than not being able to sleep at night, because then they're irritated because they didn't sleep at night. And I just say, well, if you're awake, why don't you just get up and read for an hour and then go back to bed? There might be some answers in that book anyway, like just go back to bed. No, I should just be able to sleep. Wow, wow, you're getting anxious about because you should be doing something. That's crazy. So I'm thinking that that would be helpful for those who maybe they just become more zen about maybe I should, but maybe I just relax with it and everything should work out all right in the end. Is the way I see it. So how did you get into this? Like, how did you discover it?
I actually discovered it when I was in Iraq working as an IT contractor.
Right.
Yeah, so we had a contract. We were advising the police and the judicial advisors that were training the Iraqis. But we're on army camps, and I was looking for some kind of stress relief, and I'd actually seen the website with Robert Lloyd and Elena Riley that created this technology a couple of years earlier, but I didn't have the funds at that time.
Yeah.
But now I'm here, and I was like, well, interesting, and my intuition just wouldn't leave me alone about it. I finally got a system, and I just, I immediately felt it where I was at. So I started carrying this 5-disc changer and all this equipment around in a big old backpack and a bag across helicopters in Iraq because I didn't want to be without it,
Yeah,
Um,
right.
yeah,
You're
because it just
right.
created a calm that, I
How long
couldn't.
ago was this?
That was about 15 years ago now.
15 years ago, this thing, quantum sound therapy, has been around for these devices have been around for over 15 years.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting, right?
Longer than that, Bob. It goes back over 40 years, and so
Wow.
I think the technology is originally maybe around early 2000s or so when they started to do the coils.
So here I am, sales trainer, prides herself in making sure she knows of every single thing on the planet. And people say to me, you know, like, what do you teach people to sell? Whatever it is that they're selling. Like when I teach people to sell, and really a lot of it, Ian, is not so much I'll teach you to sell, but I'll teach you how to overcome sales anxiety. And as a result, you'll end up selling, right?
Yeah.
But I have people all the time. Like I usually start with an elevator pitch. We fix the sales anxiety stuff, which is stuff costs money. And then we do an elevator pitch. And I've had people say, I've spent thousands of dollars with coaches who have been trying to teach me an elevator pitch. You get this done in like less than 10 minutes. Yes, because I only concentrate on one thing, Ian. Teaching you how to sell. I don't worry about the other stuff. Business coaches are great because they do all this other stuff as well. I don't do mindset. I'm not going to, if you say, oh yeah, but I'm not a salesman, I don't care. I'm going to tell you how to say it and I'll get you to practice that. And when you practice that over and over, whether you want to be a salesman or not, it'll all just happen. So I don't worry about that mindset stuff, but I don't do business growth and how to end up with staff or anything like that. I just teach you when you learn how to sell your thing, you can choose to make things bigger and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I'm sure I was headed somewhere with that. What was it going to be? Anyhow, so 15 years, here it was, right? 15 years ago, right? It kind of reminds me of some of network marketing, right? So there's some companies that we know of, we've always known of. Amway is one. Good thoughts, bad thoughts, doesn't matter. We've known about it anyway. And Amway people have been trained to say Amway, 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 regardless of anybody's thoughts. Tupperware. From day one, Tupperware consultants were taught to say Tupperware, right? And network marketing is this. It's about the company, Tupperware, I'll use Tupperware as the example, the company teaching their consultants to advertise for them. So they would pay the consultants a commission. So they put all the money into paying the consultant a commission for selling, but really it was because they advertised and ended up with sales, we can pay you now, or we can choose to pay an advertising company and advertise. So we can either pay people to go out and talk to their networks, so market this thing via their networks, and we'll pay people, it's commission, but technically it's just the offside of them advertising, rather than put money into advertising. So companies like Tupperware is great. It's like Xerox. Xerox was so known as a photocopying company that that we even today we still say to Xerox. We could say to Xerox or to photocopy. You know, I've got to go to the printer. I've got to go to the Xerox machine so that I can print my stuff off. Now, Xerox was a brand name, but it became a verb. Tupperware is such a household name, and people have good ideas and bad ideas of Tupperware, right? So there's some that say Tupperware is the greatest thing on the planet. Oh my God, it's so amazing. Others go, it's the most expensive plastic you know, I'll never buy. And yet everybody owns a Tupperware cupboard in their kitchen. Whether you've ever owned Tupperware or never owned Tupperware, everybody has a Tupperware cupboard, and it's the cupboard that holds all the kitchen plastic stuff. And that's your Tupperware cupboard, right? But because they said their name early on, regardless of who says good things and bad things, Chinese philosophy or Asian, Chinese philosophy is very much, you know, you get the good and the bad. So you're going to get good stuff, you're going to get bad stuff. It's just how it is. But then I find other network marketing companies, they're so against, well, don't say the company name because someone might Google it and find a bad review. But if you don't say the company name, how are we going to know that it exists, right? So I come across this fantastic company called LifeVantage a few years ago. I met a woman who sells the product. It's called Protandim. It's like a little yellow. It's a herb supplement, right?
Okay.
And I call it the Rapunzel pill. It's like a little yellow tablet, like that's what it looks like. And the Rapunzel flower from Rapunzel the story. Rapunzel was a flower. And it had this anti-aging qualities about it. So you only really had to sing to it or talk to it, and then it would turn on and it would anti-age you, right? But how it happened that Rapunzel ended up being with her hair was the queen at the time who was pregnant with Rapunzel, she'd gotten sick, and everybody in the castle was trying to save the queen. So they went looking for these flowers, and they found the last flower, which Gothel, which was the witch that looked after Rapunzel, that stole Rapunzel, Gothel had been looking after to keep it because it was the last one left. You only had to talk to it for it to work. but nobody knew that. So they cut it down and they fed it to the queen. So when the queen ate it, all the power went into the baby. And so, of course, when Rapunzel was born, while her hair was growing, while she was alive, the hair was to prove that the flower was alive. That was how. So when that was how it worked. So when Gothel brushed her hair and talked to her while brushing her hair, it turned the power on. So anyhow, this company, LifeVantage, they have like a Rapunzel pill. I call it Rapunzel pill, but it's called Protandim. And I met a woman who never said the company name, but I met her out networking. And then I've gone, oh, it's she disappeared, and then she turned up a year later, and then I met her at an event, and it turned out she was visiting family. We were both in the same city. I've got, oh my God, you're a suburb away. We should catch up for a cup of tea. And it was just as COVID was starting. She came over for a cup of tea, and I've gone, tell me the name of this company. Oh, well, just tell me the name. I'm going to Google it anyway. So anyhow, LifeVantage. And I've gone, if this thing is that amazing, how long has this company been around? She said 18 years. 18 years and nobody's heard of it? And I ask other people, I say, if it's been around 18 years and nobody's heard of it, but it does this amazing stuff, what does that say to you? Some people said, well, obviously it's not that good. I don't know, 18 years and it's helped that many and it's still around. I'd say it works pretty well. It's just like the world's best kept secret. Quantum sound therapy, honestly, when I met you guys, I didn't realize it had been around that long. You're just telling me now. 15 years ago. I thought you came across it in the last like 3 to 5 years or something. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. All right. So I'll ask you this one question, Ian, right? 15 minutes of fame. Here it is. How many people do you want to help with this? Have some fun with this.
How many people are they going to be by like 2050? Is it like 14
Oh,
million?
yeah. So currently, okay. So I always said I was going to teach 6 million people how to sell. Apparently, it's got up to 8 now because we've got 8 million. Someone told me by 2030, they said you should just start saying 10 million people because we see in another 6 years' time, we're going to have 10 million. So, yeah,
Yeah,
over 10 million. All right. I've got an answer for you then.
like 10 billion. Yeah.
Right. Here it is. All of them. You want to help all of them. I think that's a pretty noble feat, you know. Some people say, you know, you shouldn't have, or smart goals. Smart goals say that, you know, should be, you know, measurable and, you know,
Right.
something that's attainable.
Right. You have to have a number and you have to have that.
And it's got to be attainable.
Right.
My kids, I say, I've got a YouTube channel. My kids say, yeah, but you're not a YouTuber. I am. 365 subscribers. Yeah, Mum, that's not a YouTuber. Well, what's a YouTuber? What do you reckon a kid says a YouTuber is?
2 million.
Yeah, well, actually 2 million. So they say a million. If you've got less
Okay.
than a million, you're not trying and you're not a YouTuber. So
Okay.
really, anything less than a million for anyone in sales that you want to sell, less than a million, is you're not really putting in the effort, right? And but it only becomes a time issue of getting known by that many people. So let's wrap up, Ian. So what's your most favorite? All right, you wrap up with a story. Tell me a quantum sound story, sound therapy story, whether it be one that you've had or that a story you've heard from somebody else about quantum sound therapy device. Tell me one.
You know, Misty, the thing that stands out right now is actually from Friday when this really beautiful man, Jim, set up his Tesla, and he set up his Tesla IQ quantum sound therapy device. It's a bigger one. And he says, you know, Ian, I'm feeling a tingling. I said, oh, yeah. He's like, something's happening in my blood. And I was like, yeah, you know, that's common, you know, circulation. You can experience that. And then Helena's talking to him for a minute and we're all on Zoom and then he just kind of leans his head back and giggles and he said, did you ever smoke really strong dope when you were a teenager? This is an attorney, you know, owns an estate firm.
Need to be high without being high. I get that feeling of zen without ever having it.
Ear to ear, you know, just enjoying that he just activated this device a few minutes before. And I'm sure there's hundreds of other stories, but because that was just so made me giggle, to see this attorney just smile and that he's going to take it to his autistic son, and see, how he does in the energy. But, his only issue that he texted me about was he was like, well, do you feel this light all the time? Like, because it's just like shifting the space that he's operating, and he's
Yeah,
feeling so good. It's like, can life be that much more light? Can
yeah.
that be, easy?
Maybe, right? Well, you'll have to run it every day, and at the end of your life, come back and tell us, dude. You
Yeah,
tell us, can you feel
right?
it every
Yeah.
day, right? You tell us. That's great, Ian. Thank you so much for being part of 14 minutes with Fame. I think we did it.
Thank you, Misty. You're a
You're
beautiful soul.
welcome.
It's always
You're
fun
welcome.
to hop on with you. Thank you.